You've been waiting for the right time, waiting for something to change, waiting for someone to save you. No one's coming. The life you want isn't handed out, it's built. And it starts the moment you decide. This is war against every excuse, every weakness, every limit you've ever accepted. The switch flips now. You either become unstoppable or you stay exactly where you are. In a few moments, I'll teach you how to forge a mindset so sharp it will permanently change your life. Immediately. The wake-up call. Life doesn't wait. Most people are drifting, living each day the same as the one before. Wake up. Go through the motions. Fill the hours with busy work. Distract themselves with anything that feels comfortable. And deep down, they know. They know they were meant for more. They know there's a life unlived inside of them. But they wait. They wait for the right time. They wait until they feel ready. They wait for someone else to show up and change their circumstances. A helping hand, a stroke of luck, a sign, something, anything other than themselves. But here's the truth. Whether you're ready to hear it or not, no one is coming. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to hand you the life you want. No one is coming to rescue you from your doubt, your fear, or your excuses. And the moment you finally accept that, truly accept it, is the moment everything changes. Because when you stop waiting, you start moving. You stop hoping and you start building. Life does not wait. It will not slow down for your hesitation. It does not pause for your doubt. The days pass whether you act or not. And while you hesitate, opportunities fade. While you stall, the window begins to close. Most people don't fail because they tried and lost. They sleep because they never truly started. They sleepwalk through the years, convincing themselves that someday they'll change. Someday they'll be ready. Someday they'll take control. And someday becomes never. Look around. There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who wait and those who decide. Those who step into the driver's seat of their life and say, if it's going to happen, it's up to me. That single shift from victim to creator is the difference between the life you have and the life you want. The harsh truth, you are not stuck. You've never been stuck. You've simply been stuck in your own patterns. Patterns of hesitation, patterns of avoidance, patterns of comfort that feel safe but keep you small. This is your wake-up call. Right now, right here, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because if you don't choose to wake up on your terms, life will eventually do it for you. And life's wake-up calls are never gentle. They come in the form of regret, failure, disappointment, and the sinking feeling that you let time slip through your hands. But you don't have to wait for that. You can decide today, right now, I will no longer wait for permission. I will no longer wait for perfect conditions. I move. I act. I take control. And when you make that decision fully and without negotiation, the world shifts. Obstacles don't disappear, but you stop shrinking before them. You stop being at the mercy of life, and instead, you become the one who bends life to your will. Life doesn't wait, and from this day forward, neither do you. The mental switch from victim to creator. There are two ways to live, as a victim of life or as the creator of it. Most live as victims. They don't call it that, but that's what it is. Quiet resignation, silent blame, constant complaints disguised as reasons. It's not my fault. It's too late. If only things were different. These are the whispers of the defeated. But here's the truth most will never admit. As long as you believe life is happening to you, you will never have control. You will remain a passenger, tossed around by circumstances, pushed and pulled by other people's decisions, waiting, hoping, surviving. The most dangerous lie you've ever been told is that life owes you something, that if you wait long enough, if you're patient enough, somehow fortune will smile upon you. False. Life does not reward the passive. It does not honor the hesitant. It has no sympathy for the one who waits. Every person who has ever built something great, strength, freedom, legacy, had to make a choice, a violent, uncompromising choice. I refuse to be a victim. From this day forward, I am the one who creates. I am the one who decides. This is the mental switch that changes everything. When you move from thinking, why is this happening to me, to asking, What can I do about it? You go from powerless to powerful, from trapped to free. Understand this. No one gets through life without pain, without setbacks, without loss, without failure. The difference is simple. Victims see hardship and say, "This isn't fair." Creators see the same hardship and say, "Good, let's figure it out." You will never control the wind, but you can always adjust the sails. You cannot stop the storm, but you can become the one who weathers it better than anyone. Billers, there is a line in the sand. On one side are the complainers, the excuse makers, the ones waiting for rescue. On the other side are the builders, the warriors, the disciplined few who understand that everything changes when you change. You've been given a mind, a will, two hands, a body. That's all you need. From this moment forward, you stop asking for life to be easier. You start asking to be stronger. It doesn't matter how you got here. What matters is that you decide right now to take back control, to refuse to be a victim of circumstances, of upbringing, of luck, of anything outside yourself. You don't rise by waiting. You rise by moving, by building, by becoming the kind of person who commands life, not the one who begs for permission. The Creator takes it. Choose extreme ownership. Nothing changes until you do. There comes a moment in every person's life when they are faced with an unforgiving truth, a truth so sharp, so undeniable, that it splits reality wide open. That truth is simple. Everything in your life, every result, every failure, every triumph, every regret is yours, fully, completely, no exceptions. The world has conditioned you to believe otherwise. It's easy to point the finger. Easy to say the fault lies with the family you were born into, the circumstances you couldn't control, the unfair breaks, the betrayals, the mischances. That's what most do. They build entire lives around the story of why it's not their fault, why they are the way they are, why it's reasonable to stay stuck, to stay small, to stay average. But there is a different path, a harder one, a narrower one, the path of ownership. Ruthless, absolute ownership. Not partial, not selective, not only when it feels good. Ownership of every choice you've made. Ownership of every time you said yes when you should have said no. Ownership of every hour wasted. Every moment you let pass, every excuse you allowed, every standard you tolerated. Until you grab hold of this, nothing changes. You can read every book, listen to every wise word, gather advice from every direction, but none of it matters until you confront the person staring back at you in the mirror, until you look them in the eye without flinching and say, "This is on me." That moment is brutal. It's meant to be, because it burns away the lies. It strips away the illusions that someone else is responsible for the way your life looks. And in the ashes of that lie, something remarkable happens. You realize that if it's on you, then it's also within you. The power to change it, the power to reshape every part of your reality. But make no mistake, ownership isn't comfortable. It forces you to face the truth that you are exactly where you deserve to be based on your habits, your discipline, your decisions, and the standards you've either upheld or let slip. No one escapes this law. Life does not negotiate with those who refuse to own their part. It simply reflects back the sum total of who you've chosen to become. You can fight this truth. You can argue with it. You can resist it, but life won't care. Life won't pause. Life won't bend. It will simply continue delivering to you exactly what you've earned. And that is the most empowering realization of all. Because if you don't like where you are, it means you have the power to change it. But only if you accept fully and without excuse that no one is coming. Nothing changes until you do. The world does not hand power to the one who waits. It hands it to the one who takes responsibility without complaint, without blame, without hesitation. You are either the architect of your life or you are its casualty. There is no middle ground. The question is not whether life will challenge you, it's whether you will rise as the one who owns it all. Because the day you decide to carry the full weight of your own existence is the day you finally become free. Control the controllables. Destroy the rest. Life has a way of throwing fire at you. Storms you didn't ask for. Losses you didn't deserve. People who betray, systems that fail, chaos that arrives uninvited. And if you let it, that chaos will consume you. You'll drown in frustration over things you cannot change. You'll waste your breath cursing the wind, the rain, the unfairness of it all. You'll fight battles that were never yours to fight and lose every single one of them. There is a law older than time itself. Those who survive, those who thrive, those who dominate, all obey it. They focus completely, ruthlessly, obsessively on one thing, what they can control. Nothing more, nothing less. Everything outside of that, burn it, destroy it. Cut it from the edges of your mind like a surgeon removing rot, because the moment you waste your energy on what sits outside your grasp, you've already surrendered your power. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control what others think, what they say, how they behave. You cannot control the past. You cannot reverse the clock. You cannot force life to be fair. You cannot demand ease from a world that was never designed to be easy. But you can control you, your choices, your discipline, your focus, your effort, your attitude, your reactions. The world may throw fire, but you decide whether it burns you or forges you. That choice will always be yours. And yet, most spend their entire lives doing the opposite. They rant about what should have been. They complain about how others should act. They cry over how life should feel. But here's the truth. Should is a useless word. The world does not bend to should. It bends to reality. It bends to discipline. It bends to those who stop fighting battles they cannot win and instead master the battlefield within. There is no freedom in trying to change what you cannot command. There is only exhaustion, only bitterness, only wasted years. But the second you accept, fully, without resistance, that the outer world is not yours to govern, you free yourself to govern the inner one. And that's the world that matters. Because when you master yourself, when you control your breath in the face of fear, when you control your thoughts in the presence of doubt, when you control your actions when laziness whispers, the world starts to move differently around you. Not because it changes, but because you change. The man who controls himself becomes untouchable. Chaos can surround him, but it cannot claim him. Loss can knock at his door, but it cannot shake him. Disrespect can be hurled, but it cannot wound him, because his power was never out there. It was always in here. Let the world spin. Let the storms come. Let others waste their breath fighting the wind. You move differently. You act only on what is yours to command. And the rest, you let it burn. Discipline equals freedom. Most men spend their lives chasing freedom, yet run from the very thing that creates it. They want the rewards, but resist the price. They dream of strength, but avoid the work. They speak of greatness, but refuse the grind. And then they wonder why life feels heavy, why everything seems just out of reach, why nothing changes no matter how badly they wish it would. Freedom does not come from ease. It does not come from luck. It does not come from waiting. Freedom is the reward for discipline. Nothing more, nothing less. The ones who are free, free in mind, free in body, free in spirit, are not the ones who took the easy road. They are the ones who rose early when comfort whispered to stay in bed. They are the ones who worked when no applause came. They are the ones who moved forward when doubt screamed louder than certainty. Discipline is the price, and most are not willing to pay it. That's why most are slaves to their own weakness, slaves to comfort, slaves to emotions, slaves to whatever life throws at them, because without discipline they have no shield, no weapon, no backbone. The man without discipline is a leaf in the wind. Wherever the world blows, he follows. Wherever temptation points, he bends. Wherever difficulty rises, he breaks. There is no freedom in that, only quiet suffering. But the man of discipline, he is different. He owns his hours. He commands his body. He sharpens his mind. His days are not ruled by feeling, but by decision. His actions are not dictated by comfort, but by purpose. It is a hard life. It is meant to be, because it trades the suffering of regret for the suffering of growth. It trades the weight of weakness for the weight of responsibility. And in carrying that weight, the man becomes strong enough to move how he chooses, strong enough to live on his terms, strong enough to walk through life knowing that nothing owns him because he owns himself. Every excuse is a chain. Every compromise is a cage. Every time you let yourself off the hook, you hand over a piece of your power. But every time you choose discipline, you break a link. You bend the bars. You reclaim what is yours. There is no other way. The world does not give freedom to the undisciplined. It gives them distraction. It gives them comfort. It gives them chains dressed as pleasures. But for the disciplined, it offers everything. Strength, clarity, power, peace. It is simple. You either suffer the pain of discipline or you suffer the pain of regret. One weighs ounces, the other weighs tons. The man who is disciplined is free. The man who runs from discipline is already owned. You become what you tolerate. There is a truth most men spend their entire lives avoiding, a truth so heavy, so uncomfortable that they bury it beneath distraction, beneath excuses, beneath the soft lie that everything is fine. But the truth doesn't care if it's ignored. It doesn't fade, it waits. And the truth is this: you are not what you say you are. You are not what you hope to be. You are exactly what you tolerate. Every standard you've allowed to slip, every corner you've cut, every promise you've broken to yourself, these are the bricks. This is the mortar. This is the foundation of the life you stand on right now. You can dress it up with words. You can hide it behind blame. But the reflection does not lie. The mirror does not bend. Weakness tolerated becomes weakness multiplied. Laziness tolerated becomes laziness engraved. Doubt tolerated becomes identity. And before long, what was once a slip becomes a habit. What was once a habit becomes a character. And what becomes character becomes destiny. You cannot outrun what you allow. The man who lets disrespect slide invites more of it. The man who lets discipline falter invites failure. The man who lets fear dictate his choices builds a life governed by fear. There is no mystery here. Life is mechanical, ruthless, predictable. It gives you exactly what your standards demand, no more, no less. Most men live in quiet frustration because they feel the gap between who they pretend to be and who they have allowed themselves to become. They feel it when they lie awake at night, when the noise settles, when the excuses grow thin. But here's the other side of this truth. The moment you stop tolerating weakness, your life changes immediately. Not in theory, not eventually, instantly. The very second you raise your standard, the world shifts, because the world is always watching, always testing, always asking one question: what will this man tolerate? Tolerate disrespect, you will live surrounded by it. Tolerate mediocrity, life will flood you with it. But tolerate nothing beneath excellence, nothing beneath strength, nothing beneath discipline, and watch how the world bends. Watch how the wrong people fall away. Watch how opportunities reveal themselves to a man who carries himself like he belongs at the top. It doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter what you've allowed until now. What matters is that you draw the line. A line so sharp, so permanent, that nothing crosses it again. Not laziness, not fear, not weakness, not failure pretending to be fate. Your life is a direct reflection of what you've settled for. Change what you tolerate, and you change everything. Detach from the outcome, obsess over the process. Most men are prisoners of outcomes, slaves to results. They tie their worth to the finish line. If the goal is reached, they feel alive. If it's delayed, they crumble. If it's denied, they collapse entirely. And so they live in a constant state of tension, strangled by the question, am I there yet? Never realizing this is the very mindset keeping them stuck. Here's the law that never breaks. The outcome is never yours. You do not own the result. You never have. You never will. The weather does not answer to you. Timing does not answer to you. Fate does not move because you demand it. You cannot force the crops to grow faster by staring at the field, but the work, the grind, the daily discipline, that is yours, fully, completely, without question. The process is the only thing you've ever truly owned. The man who understands this becomes untouchable, because while others chase finish lines, he chases mastery. While others wait to feel proud when the goal is reached, He feels proud in the fire of the work itself. This is the secret. The outcome is a shadow, a reflection of the process. When you obsess over the shadow, it slips through your hands. But when you anchor yourself to the work, the process, the discipline, the shadow has no choice but to follow. Look around. Most will never understand this. They get motivated for a day, maybe a week, driven by the idea of some future moment of glory. But the first time the results don't come fast enough, they retreat, they crumble, because their fuel was weak. Their focus was never the work itself, it was the reward. But the disciplined man is different. He wakes with one question: what must be done today? Not, when will I arrive? Not, where is my reward? Only the process, only the task, only the relentless commitment to execute, whether anyone is watching or not, whether the finish line is near or distant, whether the fruits of the labor appear this week or a decade from now. Detach from the outcome. Let it go. It was never yours to begin with. Obsess instead over how you show up, how precise you can become, how sharp, how disciplined, how dangerous you can turn yourself into. Not someday, not eventually, but now, today, in this very hour. Because here's the truth. The man who commits to the process becomes inevitable. He doesn't need luck. He doesn't need perfect timing. He doesn't even need motivation. His discipline creates momentum. His focus creates gravity, and eventually the world has no choice but to hand him what he demanded through action. The outcome will come, or it won't. It doesn't matter. What matters is this: you showed up, you did the work, and you became something unrecognizable from who you were before. And that was the goal all along. No one cares. Work harder. There's a truth most men spend their entire lives running from. A truth they avoid, deny, sugarcoat. But it waits, quiet, unmoving, brutal. And when it hits you, it cuts through every excuse like a blade. That truth is this: no one cares. No one cares about your struggles. No one cares about how hard it's been. No one cares about the unfair breaks, the bad luck, the setbacks. The world does not owe you understanding. It does not owe you sympathy. It does not owe you time, patience, or forgiveness. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you stop looking outward for comfort, for rescue, for validation, the sooner you get to work. Real work. Relentless, unglamorous, back-breaking work. The only kind that ever changes anything. Most will never get this. They waste years complaining to anyone who will listen. They explain, they justify. They wait for someone to pat them on the back and tell them, it's okay, you've been through enough. But the pat never comes. The permission never comes, because no one is coming. The world respects one thing: results. It bows to one thing: action. It rewards one kind of man, the man who moves forward, whether anyone notices or not, whether anyone claps or not, whether anyone believes in him or not. The weak wait to be saved. The strong save themselves. You don't have time to feel sorry for yourself. You don't have time to sit in the mud and wonder why it's hard. Of course it's hard. It was always going to be hard. That's the deal. That's the cost. That's the price of freedom, of strength, of a life that belongs fully to you. No one cares about the reasons. No one cares about how tired you are. No one cares how far behind you feel. Life doesn't care. The clock doesn't pause. The grave doesn't wait. And neither should you. The response to difficulty is not explanation. It's not complaint. It's not waiting for someone to understand. It's action. It's discipline. It's work. More work, harder work, smarter work, ruthless, relentless work. Work when you don't feel like it. Work when no one sees it. Work when every part of you whispers to stop, to slow down, to wait. Work until the man you were yesterday becomes embarrassed by who you are today. And when it gets heavier, when it feels like the weight might break you, good. That's the signal. That's the sign that you're no longer like them. You're no longer average. You're stepping into the rare air, the space where few go, the space where the strong are forged. No one cares. Good. Work harder. Mastery of self-talk, The words you speak create your reality. There's a voice inside you. No one else hears it. No one else lives with it, but you do. Every hour, every day, every moment. It is the most dangerous force in your life or the most powerful weapon you will ever wield, because that voice is shaping everything, quietly, relentlessly. It's writing the rules you live by. It's painting the borders of what you believe is possible, whether you rise or whether you break. It starts with the words you speak to yourself when no one is watching. Most men are prisoners of their own voice. They've spent years feeding it weakness, feeding it fear, feeding it doubt. I can't. It's too hard. I'm not ready. It's not for me. These are not just words. These are commands. And life is obedient. Life listens. The mind listens. When you speak weakness, you become it. Understand this. The words you speak to yourself are orders. Orders to your mind, orders to your body, orders to your future. Speak defeat often enough, and you begin to walk like a defeated man. Think small often enough, and small becomes the shape of your world. The men who rise, the ones who carve strength out of chaos, are not men who never feel doubt. They are men who refuse to speak it. They may hear the whispers of fear, but they answer back with fire, with words that strengthen rather than weaken. Your mind is always listening. It believes you every time. Speak weakness, and the mind obeys. Speak strength, and the mind sharpens. Speak discipline, and the body follows. Speak certainty, and the world starts moving like it was always meant to belong to you. This is not arrogance. This is not empty motivation. This is warfare, psychological warfare, against the lazy part of yourself, against the doubter within, against the quitter who's been whispering to you since the day life first tested you. Every time you call yourself weak, you are. Every time you call yourself incapable, you become. And every time you call yourself disciplined, powerful, resilient, you step closer to embodying exactly that. Speak like a king or live like a servant. The choice is yours. But you will never outwork the man who refuses to speak against himself. Because while you fight the weight of your own doubt, he moves unburdened, untouched, unstoppable. If you understood how powerful your words truly were, you would never speak another word of weakness again. Not in frustration, not in doubt, not even as a joke, because the mind never takes it as a joke. There is no neutral language. Every word is either a brick building your strength or a hammer tearing it down. Guard it, command it, master it. Because the words you speak to yourself become the house you live in. Kill the noise. Ruthless focus in a distracted world. The enemy is always the same. Noise, distraction, clutter. Not the noise of the world, but the noise you allow inside your mind. The noise that whispers of comfort. The noise that pulls you from discipline, the noise that begs you to scatter your attention 1,000 different ways until you've exhausted your energy on everything except what matters. Weak men drown in noise. They cannot focus, they cannot commit, they move like ghosts, busy but aimless, active but ineffective, always mistaking movement for progress. They confuse being occupied with being productive.